Sara Lynn Wineski was a 49-year-old homeless woman who had moved to St. Petersburg, Florida from Sarasota. Just a week before she was found dead under the abandoned wooden deck of Ronald McDonald House. It was at this address of 702 8th Avenue where, on May 22, 2005, police uncovered Sara, who has been sexually assaulted and strangled to death. Sara said to have been found less than 24 hours after her death. Yet, her killer had been already begun his move to Ohio. The struggle with this murder case was that there were absolutely no sighting, and the only witness evidence the police had to work off was a scream heard by a local resident at night before 11 p.m. While the investigators investigated, there was a familiar man who passed by the crime scene area. The police wanted to interview him, but he refused. Police had barely any evidence to work with, and her case went cold for a couple of years. It wasn't until some year later when police made a DNA match. With a technique known as gene electrophoresis, police were able to get a DNA match to identify Sara's killer. Evidence from the crime scene was brought to a lab, where DNA is extracted by dissolving the evidence. A technique called RFLP, or restriction fragment length polymorphism, is used. Restriction enzymes cut the DNA into varying sized sections, which is an important step. Next, the DNA sample is put into wells on a gel plate. On this plate, negatively charged DNA particles are pulled through agarose-based gel toward the other side of the plate, which is being positively charged with an electrical current. As the DNA fragments move through the gel, smaller pieces are affected by less friction and move quicker and farther through the gel. At the end of this process, you are left with a film with a DNA barcode or banding pattern unique to only one person. By comparing the DNA banding pattern of suspect Raymond Samuels and the DNA found at the crime scene, police were able to determine whether or not he was the right suspect. Samuels, who had already been serving a 29-year sentence, was charged of one count of first-degree murder and is currently in the process of being fully extradited. With no eyewitness accounts or confessions, the DNA evidence in this case was vital, and a conviction would not have been made if it weren't for the brilliant technique of gene electrophoresis. Furthermore, without DNA testing abilities, justice would not have been served, and Sara's family would still be wondering.